to the XLNC eSports stream, where it is another fantastic pre-show here for the mid-league 6:30. Approximate start time is usually the place to be, and we have got another really fun show in store for you guys. We're doing a little Guess That Player action ahead of the semifinals matchup for tonight. Omega Gaming Unleashed already booking their ticket to the grand finals matchup. It's up for Glaive eSports and AOE God Squad to battle it out on the Rift tonight to figure out who's going to be going to meet Omega in the finals, excuse me. But before we get to that point, me and the casters are going to be having ourselves a little fun. Stone, Gunjin, and Dory, thank you guys so much once again for joining me for another Mac pre-show. How are you guys feeling for tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good tonight. I'm always happy to get to be on the stream instead of behind the camera, so I'm super excited, and I'm a little nervous about playing against the guys who are always on camera. So
well, don't worry, Dory. I don't dive into the stats as much as Stone does, so I got my work cut out for me. But Mac Attack 3, this is what I'm ready for. I've been waiting all season when Mac Attack 3 came, and I guess this is it.
Yeah, I'm excited, but I'm also nervous. I feel like there's like some pressure on me. I'm a huge stats nerd, and now I'm just about to get like exposed here because I'm gonna get wrecked by people who know the players a lot better than I do.
Hey, well, guys, don't worry. The points do not matter, but we're still going to keep track anyway. I do have the first player up for you guys on stream. It is a little bit of a potential mystery for you guys. Hopefully, if you guys can't look in the Discord stream, on the Twitch stream, it is pulled up for you guys. The first clue, or maybe not, maybe this is the thing. You guys can't see the clues yet. I can. Don't look at the Twitch stream. Haha. This will be the real big brain.
I'll go ahead and close the Twitch stream.
I didn't look.
I'm sitting here just like Buzz. I want it, Buzz.
All right, guys. First clue for the first player. The rules are: first, you guys have to guess the player based on the clues. Then we are going to talk about the matchup that player has in front of them for tonight, and potentially even just the role as a whole. Looking forward to the finals matchup against Omega Gaming Unleashed. So your first clue for this mystery player is, number one, they did not receive pro team honors. All right. Might not be enough. Again, these clues are going to build up. The first clue going to be the hardest, and as we work our way through the rest of the clues for you guys, you should be able to decipher who we're talking about, all right? So the second clue for you guys, no one able to figure it out based off the first clue, no worries. Not only did this player not receive pro honors, but they didn't play Senna all split.
I know. I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, at this point, it's an 80 carry. Out of the 3 left, I'm pretty sure Beastlance. I can't remember if he sinned and played the sin champion that is Senna. I know for a fact I didn't watch Kiba play it either, because I'm pretty sure he just played Kaisa for the entire half of the match that we saw. And then from what I'm thinking about, I think Adjustment might have sinned. I think he's the only sinner. So it's now down to those two, but I don't think that's enough for me. I'm gonna leave it up.
You don't think it can be a support?
Gunjin's revealing his thought process to you, Stone and Dory. So do you guys?
I mean, he's assuming ADC, but I mean, it could still be a support technically, could it not?
I think we saw some side of support, but I think it was from some of the teams that didn't make it, because the double squishy bot lane, I definitely think got exploited really easily.
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
And who is the support in a Senna Tom Kench lane where the Senna is farming, the farm Kench, right? Is that support? Is it ADC? Now it's there's too many layers to this.
Whoa, what if Adjustment like Scion, man?
Oh, yeah. All right, that's my bad.
Secretly a Scion one trick as well.
All right, guys. No one able to guess the player off of the second clue. Maybe the third clue may be enough for you guys to crack this code. Keep in mind, you lose 1 point if you guess the player incorrectly, and 2 points to the first caster who guesses the player correctly. All right, third clue coming up. Get ready. He has a 100% win rate on Jinx.
Oh.
Okay, Bing.
Yep,
Can I,
yep,
can I
yep.
buzz?
Who's gonna say it? First
I want to
caster.
buzz Beastland.
Beastland.
It's
Oh.
Beastland.
Yeah.
Gungeon!
Good.
I want,
Gungeon's
I
got
want
it.
Damn it.
Beastland's playing Jinx. I'm pretty sure I've never seen Kiba play Jinx, so I'm gonna go with Beastlands on that one.
A little Beastlands action for you guys there. Wow. It is the AOE God Squad ADC, excuse me, and he has a really big matchup coming up for him tonight, going up against Kiba in the bot lane. Do I have any predictions from you guys here in the pre-show, thinking whether or not that lane's going to go in Beastlands' favor or not?
I think it does. I think it goes in Beastlands' favor, particularly because some of the nerfs and buffs we've seen to the ADC role, Kai'Sa getting a huge nerf. So the person with the larger champion pool is probably going to be able to win this. Now, I might be eating my words later when they show me that they have, when Kiba showed me that he has a way deeper champion pool than I recognize. But yeah, I think Beastlands has a good shot tonight.
In terms of the matchup itself, I think that they will pretty much kind of even out. So I watched AOE God Squad versus No Fear Wolves, and obviously I'm not going to compare Epic Fail Guy to Kiba because I think Kiba is again, all pro #1 AD carry. But in terms of what AOE God Squad's game plan going into that game is just, let's just not even play through bot side. Let's just neutralize bot lane as much as we can, and then play with that mid jungle duo. So I actually expect this bot lane matchup to not be as important as we kind of look at it to be, just because of the caliber of AD carries we're going to be seeing in this series.
Yeah, and I actually share that sentiment, especially with some of the power being taken away from those bigger priority AD carries. I honestly think that it's more on the onus of the support to be successful in these lanes. And I mean, Issei did get on the... Actually, did Jabber? Jabber did not get nodded for the...
Jabber did not.
No. Issei is... I know it's about the AD carries, but I don't know. I think that the role itself is more deterministic by the pieces surrounding them, and I just think that McShootums and Issei are a little bit stronger, I guess, than Mel Scout and Jabber in this case.
Hey,
No,
a really
100%.
hype matchup for the bot lane tonight. As we know, Glaive and AOE do like to play around that bot lane. Beastlands and Kiba, definitely, I think, at least my matchup to look for in the semifinals game. The best of 5 series is going to be interesting. Stone, I like your point about the champion pool. That may come to fruition to maybe bite Glaive in the behind if the best of 5 series extends to a really high margin. AOE God Squad, they will have potentially the opportunity to try to figure out how Kiba and Issei could possibly be taken down. But we are going to go to the next mystery champion. Get ready, guys. The first clue going to be coming up in just a second. All right. Woo! The image. I hate how you guys can't see the images. It's okay, though. The clues for you guys. Number 1, leads team in assists per game. A bit of a general one, I know, but at least get in your head in the right market. Keep in mind, all of these players are going to be on the 4 semifinals teams potentially, so keep that in mind for players who would possibly lead teams in assists per game. Number 2 clue for you guys, since I'm not getting any guesses, no worries. Number clue 2, has not played any Leona this split.
Oh, so now it's a support.
Yeah. So I remember I was looking through the stats. I think it was 2 weeks ago when I was doing prep for No Fear Wolves versus AOE, and I remember oh god, it's digging at me because it's my brain is like expounding as I'm trying to figure this out. I'm gonna go for a big here because I think I know who this is. I'm pretty sure this is Angel. I'm gonna lock that in.
Ooh, Gudgeon, you get 1 guess, and you might have missed it. That's going to be -1 point. Gudgeon,
Okay, we're in it. We're in it.
No.
We're in it. We're in it. Dory,
go.
Stone, you guys still get a guess. No worries. All right. Clue number 3. All right. Seraphine,
3.
Galio, Thresh, and Alistar all tied for this player's first most played champion. It was a
Oh, I
split
think I know
between
it.
all the
Oh, I
champs.
see. It's
I think I know it.
All right,
I'm gonna
Dory, set it first.
I think it's Issei.
Dory, I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna have to
Oh.
ding you 1 point for that one. Stone, do you have a guess at this point?
Oh, I definitely have a guess, and I have a guess based on the sandwich that I see on the screen. This is the sub.
It's the sub.
Oh.
It's the sub.
Oh. Oh.
Great job, guys. Stone, 2 points for you. The sub would have been going up against Angel in the semifinal matchup, but I do want to point to how whoever comes out on top in this semifinal matchup between Glaive and AOE God Squad, right? Issei or Jabber, you have both of those two studs in the support role. In the grand finals, potentially, they're going to have to face the sub there. Who would you guys think, based on the semifinals, who would you rather have going into the sub?
In terms of how the matchup, obviously lane-wise, I think that Issei does a lot better because that Kiba Issei bot lane has been so dominant from we've seen from like middle of the mid league up to now. In terms of the roaming though, I just think that the sub kind of just beats people around map play. Obviously, Issei is a better laning support, and that's why I kind of want to go against him, just because of he could kind of exploit the bot lane that is adjustment on the sub. But in terms of overall map play, and especially with play around their jungle, I think sub makes these winning gameplays. Like I've watched this guy play Blitzcrank. I've had a game where I was like, the sub won the game as support Blitzcrank, and I always say this: that is an X Factor champion, and the sub is the X Factor for his team. Obviously, Omega Gaming has a really solid roster around them, but there's no player that's like, this is it. But for that team, a lot of the times it's the sub. It's the sub or Simulacrum, and I think that the sub has a really good matchup going into finals against either the supports. But in terms of overall laning, I think Issei kind of wins out on that. So it's going to be an interesting juxtaposition where you have Issei and Kiba trying to win the lane, and you have the sub trying to make the map work better.
Yeah, and bringing the patch back into the picture here, a lot of the bot laners and support champions that can get those 2v2 kills in the bottom lane have been nerfed. The Rel got nerfed, Alistar nerfed, Kai'Sa nerfed, Tristana nerfed. And so I think it is going to become about playing weak side ADC for a little while here. And roaming is just going to be the name of the game for all of the support players.
If that's the case, is there a chance to say that maybe having a stylistic matchup between Jabber would be good here? Because it seems like while Beastlance does demand a lot of resources, he also plays stuff, minus the Callista, obviously. I mean, his Jinx is his second most played. He's going to play range and he's going to farm. It might give Jabber an opportunity to match the sub, maybe beat him at his own game.
The only problem that I have in the Jabber versus Issei matchup is that a lot of times, especially even when games where I feel like it's more around Sharp Circle and it's that Sharp Circle plus Mouse Scout 2v2, a lot of times Jabber does usually stay with his AD carry a good amount. Like even in games when Beastlance isn't the primary carrier for that AOE God Squad team, they do always keep Jabber kind of locked in with him. So in terms of that roaming matchup, a lot of times I feel like Jabber, especially when in games where they kind of don't have a good identity in terms of team comp, he always kind of opts in for some of those more range supports like the Lulus, the Karmas. So like the impact he has on the map compared to subs like the Blitzcrank or subs Rel is going to be just kind of negated. So like I think that the matchup for Jabber versus the sub, I think is more sub favored just because of how the two AD carries kind of play out.
Right. So it does feel like either way, it sounds like we're pretty much agreeing that the sub has the advantage here, right? But it's who would match up better.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think that warrants points for all of you.
Yeah.
You know, that was a really solid discussion on the support, guys. I really appreciate it. I feel like we went somewhere with that. You know, the sub is a beast. There's a reason he was on the All Pro third team for the support role. And so either way, Glaive, AOE God Squad, they're going into quite the matchup doozy moving forward into the potential finals. Do want to throw at least one more who's that player at you guys. Get ready for another series of clues. Stone right now in the lead, crushing it so far, not missing a guess yet. All right. Clue number 1 for the next mystery player. Get ready, guys. The image you may want to try to look at.
Okay.
I can also send you guys an image.
Yes, I would love to see this image.
I kind
Get
of want
ready.
to see it.
I know
That
it's
I
a
really
great.
got sub.
I'm quite proud of it. So get ready. It is of a deer. It's just like Bambi. All right.
Oh,
Picture Bambi.
okay.
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 Clues: received All Pro second team honors.
Okay.
I mean,
Clue number 1.
makes me think Lilia. It makes me think jungler.
Yeah, it makes me think, but I know for a fact that second team jungler was Fallen. I'm pretty sure, and I do not remember Fallen Artemis Lilia. I remember Acid Lilia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like
that's
Acid's the first person who comes to mind.
whenever I think Lilia.
So maybe we're being bamboozled. Is there
We're
somebody
being
who
bamboozled. This is a
did
big-
someone pull out the top Lilia this season?
I think I saw that once. I remember seeing that like early weeks,
was
and it
in there
looked
once.
really bad.
Yep.
All right, guys. Maybe clue number 2 will help you guys out. This player did help the team get league high in own jungle CS.
Okay.
Helped,
That-
helped get the team to league high, man.
It has to be Lilia, then, right? Like who?
It's got to be a
farms
yeah.
Lilia?
It's definitely a Lilia jungle player. I mean, that's the only person who's.
Totally. What else could the
mean,
deer
it's-
be? I don't know.
I mean,
We'll
it's-
see. This player is also the only top 4 jungler to not have Gunjin's Mr. Olaf in his top 5 plays.
I'm stuck between Fallen and Acid right now.
Remember, first guess gets it.
I don't. It's not Acid. It's. I don't think it's Acid.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna take a
You're
risk here.
locking
I'm
it
gonna
up.
say it's Fallen Artemis.
Dory K!
No!
Yes!
I still wanted to- I still wanted to
Nice
think of one.
man! There we go.
Lord.
It is Fallen Artemis. You did it, Dory. And Fallen Artemis, quite the jungler, moving on into the grand finals, worthy of that spot. And looking at the semifinals matchup for the jungle lane, it's going to either be Mick Shoot'ems or Mel Scout, who has really been on the rise, I feel like, heading into the jungle matchup. Let's look for a moment into that semifinal matchup, though. Mel Scout, especially on that Skarner pick, has been making some serious noise so far in the past couple weeks.
Yeah, I casted the No Fear Wolves versus the AOE God Squad series quarterfinal series, and the Skarner pick became such a kind of like a dominant pick. And it's going into game number 1. It felt like AOE was kind of trying to experiment around, see what they could get away with. They ended up picking the Udyr first round, and it just felt like he wasn't able to get too much done. And the pick over for the side of No Fear Wolves, with the Volibear and the Gangplank topside, was able to kind of neutralize this Udyr that has to run in. And so game number 2, we see the Mel Scout Skarner, and this champion for Mel Scout, the work that him and Sharp Circle are able to do as a mid jungle 2v2 is ridiculous. I watched mid Vayne and mid Tristana take over 2 games back to back, and it felt like nothing could be done because anytime you tried to gank Sharp Circle, there was a Scorpion right there with all vision cleared out. Anybody approaches the mid lane, there is a massive Scorpion waiting for you. So if, again, this is just a thought, that champion's going to be super important in this series, either as a pick or a ban. And I think that Mel Scout to Skarner is kind of empowering Sharp Circle. Because again, we think about AOE God Squad as Beastlance's team. We see the Jinx, we see the Callistas, we see the range supports to support him. But what it's kind of turning into now, going into quarterfinals and now heading into this semifinal matchup, I think it's going to be around Sharp Circle, and it's going to be this mid jungle 2v2 that I think is going to be a lot more important than the bot lane matchup.
I actually kind of agree with that too, and I think that stylistically, with Totemak still playing mid, it's tough because he goes for a lot of 1v1 plays, right? He's, I believe, I might have to fact check this, but I believe Totemax is near the top for solo kills. I don't know if that's actually a stat we can track, but I can pretty much rely on him to get some solo kill for my bingo card every week, as long as he's on stream. I feel like while McShoot'ems is pretty good at impacting the map, he tends to kind of float between the two lanes, whereas like you said, like Sharp Circle basically has a big old target on his back with a scorpion right with him. So
Yeah, and I keep saying on these casts that a lot of times the finals and the playoffs come down to which team gets hot at the right time. And I think the meta is shaping up for Mel Scout here just a little bit better than any other jungler. It's a supportive jungle role. These Skarner picks, the Volibear picks are going to be a little bit better. You know, the farming junglers are kind of getting nerfed and the jungle's getting nerfed. So I don't think it's going to be as useful as we move on in the finals. So I think Mel Scout playing around lanes is going to be the best. And I think that he's done better than anyone in the league, to be honest.
oh, so you're thinking, we're thinking at this point, like, do we think that, like, what do we think the chances are of this AOE upset? Do we think kind of the blocks have just fallen in their favor now at this point?
It's close. I do want to point out to you guys, to add on to this discussion, AOE God Squad was, I believe, the only team since Kiba and Issei joined the roster back, since they returned to the roster. I believe AOE God Squad was the only team to take a game off of them.
Yeah, they and going to the last week, or I think it was the second to last week, AOE God Squad had the MCE and then the Glaive back-to-back matchups, and I think they won both of them. And I remember watching that game, and a lot of it felt really weird because it felt like it was going to be a typical game where Beastlands carries, because he did end up picking the Jinx, and there was the Lulu support for Jabber, so like it was like a Jinx comp. But then in the middle of it, I saw Sharp Circle just style on the mid 2v2 between Sharp Circle and Mouse Scout, and then McShoots and Totemak. So like they have that facet where they want to play on the bot lane, like they picked the Jinx, but then Sharp Circle just kind of was like, it's my show now. They just kind of burst onto the scene and just kind of outplayed Totemax and McShoots. So I'm excited to see this mid lane 2v2, but I do think that jungle pool might get a little bit tight for Mel Scout with the way he's playing.
Yeah, a little tight. I think the jungle pool's a little tight, but we're sort of sleeping on the top lane here. And AOE God Squad plays a lot more Shen than any other team in the league, I think. And so you're talking about a 2v2, but it can quickly become a 3v2, right? And so I think that, you know, putting the resources into the mid and bottom lane, you know, from the top side of the map can be really, really, you know, beneficial for this team. And I don't know, I'm not sure that Glaive can match. They have a lot of aggression and they have a lot of lane kingdom, but when it comes to the rotations, I think that Mel Scout's been on point.
I think that's great that you mentioned the top lane matchup, because I think that is one way that Glaive can attack AOE God Squad. Again, I'm not again, as we are building up to our predictions for the series, I'm not as much on the AOE God Squad train as you guys are. I think you guys are like upset. Like I'm kind of striking it back, because again, watching Flaming Thunder, especially in the quarterfinal series, he was playing a lot of, obviously he plays weak side top lane. That is what he's good at. They know what he wants to do. He plays the Scions, he plays the Shens. But the way he plays it, he does end up kind of leaving room to especially if you end up picking like a top lane carry, like champs like that. Stridebreaker Gnar right now is kind of dominating the meta. Aurelia, the champions that I know Miho can play, he does play some weak side because of just how much resources Totemax and Kiba end up taking up, but he can play the carry side. So I want to, if my kind of vision for how Glaive win this series is they kind of revert to Miho being that carry threat, because Flaming Thunder can get exploited in lane, and if you put jungle pressure up there, he might end up becoming kind of that leak that breaks the dam.
It will certainly be a really, really awesome matchup. Stone, do you want to add that final thought? Sorry to cut you off there, my guy. Before we head and get ready, Game 1 is starting soon. Good Prem 900 catching out the typo. It is semifinals between Glaive eSports and AOE God Squad. Stone, want to let you finish off that point, though, before we get ready for the match.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I don't know, Gunshin is having some effect on me here. I do think, I disagree that I want to see this game play out in a way where Glaive eSports is playing around the top side of the map and AOE is playing around the bottom side of the map. I want to see two different styles go up against each other and see who wins. If we just get another, the camera's always on the bottom lane, 2v2 kills, I'm going to be just a little disappointed. But I do think that that's a great way to play the game, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
A very, very hype matchup for us tonight. Glaive eSports Rose taking on AOE God Squad. The battle of the bot lanes no longer just that. It is a absolute gladiator match on the Rift. All lanes must watch action. We are going to hop into a quick break before we bring you guys the analyst desk. Get ready. Game 1 picks and bans about to start in just a few.